Some of the earliest memories of my childhood involved lying in bed, dazed as my father spun tales of elves, magic, and evil so mysterious and wonderful that it would go on to shape my taste in fiction for the longest of time. It was a wonder that my small marshmallow of a brain was capable of understanding the antiquated sprawl of thoughts that was John Ronald Reuel Tolkien's writing, but his rings would captivate my imagination for about as long as I can remember. It is then no surprise that when I found a copy of Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor in a pre-owned bin of my local EB Games as a 13-year-old, I would instantly scoop it up and beg my mother to purchase it for me. Shadow of Mordor would quickly become one of my favourite games of all time, but to my shock, I only sunk around 20 hours into the game before my adolescent mind was sucked into other thoughts and barely achieved half of what the game had to offer. So I sought out to change that. Today, I wish to share with you my 28-hour journey to become the Master of Mordor. Our story begins with the Black Gate of Mordor, which for centuries has stood guarding the world of men from a threat long since forgotten. We are introduced to Talion, a captain of the Black Gate, as we are swarmed by waves of Uruk. Fighting through the game's tutorial, we're introduced to the basics of the combat system through flashbacks with our protagonist's family. After slaying some Uruk, offering our wife some flowers, and being brutally captured, our happy marriage is cut short by an edgy albino cosplayer who decides we need a nice taste of Talion-flavoured Kool-Aid. We awake in a mysterious tower and learn that
curse binds us together within the walls of Arda.
From a ghostly figure who definitely isn't possessing us or anything like that.
Are you sure about that?
With our brief introduction out of the way, we smash an anvil, destroy the mind of a friendly neighbourhood Uruk, and unlock ourselves our first trophy. With the entirety of Mordor in front of us, our first job is to find a nearby captain and give him a gentle reminder of the consequences of not paying his slave taxes before noticing a creature watching us complete our civil duties. Tracking it down to a nearby cave, we uncover a necklace that gives us a glimpse into the ghost's past, unlocking our next trophy. After beating up some bad guys and shooting a vicious poodle, we find the creature and with some gentle persuasion, convince him to lead us to more treasures of the ghost's past. But having grown bored of diplomacy, I choose to ignore the summons of Gollum and instead make our introductions to Mordor's best character, Ratbag. An ambitious and opportunistic businessman, Ratbag fills us in on his plan to become an Uruk warchief. We immediately offer our services in reverence of such magnificence and assist our new partner in ascending the ranks over the course of the next several missions. Along the way, we complete a couple challenges, side missions, and upgrade our bow to be rewarded with a couple miscellaneous trophies. Once Ratbag's competition is eliminated and our rascal of a friend is freed from his slanderous position of captain, we return to Gollum to learn more of our ghostly companion's past. And through a series of cutscenes, his identity is finally revealed.
Celebrimbor. Greatest smith of the Second Age. I'd heard the stories, but
I remember my name now.
John C.
Now knowing the name of this musty old fart for a spiritual guide, we take out our shock and awe on the nearby war chiefs, reprimanding them severely for their lack of respect. Following their death and a sword level up, we assist our local neighbourhood Michael Bay fans ferry a cart of explosives to the base of Sauron's new statue, and proceed to blow it the fuck up. An action I'm sure will have no repercussions whatsoever. Yeah, he died. Knowing our friends will never be safe with the Black Hands minions nearby, we challenge Pasty Albino Guy number 2, but alas, we arrive too late, and Ratbag the Great is slain before my very eyes. In a fit of pure rage and violence, we begin our slaughter, mercilessly stabbing, slashing, and countering until the hammer falls before us. With the hammer dead and the introduction of Lethariel from the Sea of Nirnan, we unlock the ability to travel to the game's second map. But since our rage has yet to fully subside, we complete a couple combat challenges, earning some trophies before proceeding to the rich green land of Nirnan. Here, we are introduced to Lady Marwen of my nightmares, and finally unlock the Shadow's best ability, the ability to brand Uruk captains to gain control of them. Having unlocked such a special power, we spend some time traversing the map, forging the last of the towers of Eregion, snapping our ankles while assassinating an Uruk, murdering a captain who had already murdered me, poisoning a captain's alcohol, and exposing a war chief's fear of fire to further increase our trophy tally. To progress the story, we follow a clearly possessed Lady Marwen's instructions to take control of a captain, promote him to war chief, and begin building our Uruk army. Upon returning from our escapades, we free the lady from her possessor, de-aging her by what seems several centuries, and earning her unabiding allegiance. But not wishing to further grow Talian's harem out of fear of this video becoming demonetized, we ghost the fair ladies for the moment in favour of the company of Torvin the Dwarf. As a pure specimen of the peak male physique and ultimate ladies' man, Torvin teaches us the basics of the hunt, granting us the ability to tame both caragors and the terrifying Grau. However, Torvin's true prey is one Graug in particular, the Great White Graug. Wishing to carry on the success of our little sausage party, I spent some time improving Talian's abilities, freeing caragors from cages, and lighting Uruks on fire. Having ignored the women in our life for long enough, we assist Lethariel in capturing medicine desperately needed to treat her ailing mother, only for her to be captured and tormented by the tower. Unable to completely ignore a damsel in distress, we storm the stronghold, and with the help of some branded Uruk soldiers, carry her to safety. With Lethariel safe with her men, we free the first of many groups of slaves, who I'd been successfully ignoring up until now, complete some hunting objectives, and successfully brand the remaining war chiefs to build our army. Now, all that remained before us was the Black Hand. Sailing across Mordor's sea, we are greeted at the Black Hand's doorstep by our arch nemesis, Pushkrimp Blackheart, who I haven't mentioned before because he kind of just dies less than 30 seconds later. But unperturbed by the lackluster defensive forces, we push forward, coming face to face with Lethariel's torturer, known simply as the Tower. He goads us as we stalk the Goliath across his castle, before finally stabbing the living shit out of him. Holy crap! And so the tower crumbles beneath our feet. But one enemy still remains. The Black Hand has returned to the Black Gate. We charge forth along the Black Road, coming face to face with the talons of the Black Hand. One by one, the talons fall, until all that stands between us and our greatest foe is the gate where our journey began. The Black Hand awaits us at the precipice, and quickly sacrifices himself to allow the spirit of the Dark Lord to possess his figure. But not even Sauron's might is enough to overcome a gamer's mastery of quick-time events.
Strike now, Talion! I cannot hold him for much longer!
Hand of Sauron is dead. With the base game story complete, it was now time to mop up any loose ends in Mordor. First, we scoured both Nurnen and Udun for all Ithilien and artifacts, earning ourselves all 4 collectible trophies for the hassle. During these travels, I also took the time to shoot any Morgai nests and Caragor bait I could find in order to earn their associated awards. Next up, the combat missions. With 10 combat missions for each weapon, the next hour would be spent fast travelling to each location and slaying Uruk, netting us the Last Shadow, Fire of Justice, and the Maker's Bow achievements. I'd follow this up by issuing a death threat on an Uruk captain and slaying him despite the increased defences. In order to satiate my relentless desire to haunt the dreams of Uruk warchiefs, the next half hour was devoted to branding 5 captains, promoting them to bodyguards, and encouraging them all to betray their warchief at the exact same time.
That's fucked up.
This was then followed up by murdering all of the warchiefs before they could be replaced in order to create a power vacuum that temporarily quenched my bloodlust.
And that's fucked up.
This is Luga, a lovely young lad who would become the subject of my entertainment for the next several minutes. First, I allowed Luga to kill me, thereby promoting him to captain status. Second, I hunted the poor sod down and dominated him, forcing him to become my slave. Third, I pushed Luga to host a recruitment in order to be named War Chief, a process which I generously assisted with, before, finally, murdering him and all of his followers in cold blood the second they had sucked on the dangling teat of success.
Fucked up.
Next up, executing a burning berserker, enticing a riot, and collecting flowers? Tree hugging is boring, more killing nature for rewards. After allowing a newly promoted warchief to kill me, we scare the Jibby Jesus out of him in order to earn ourselves a level 25 ruin, leaving us with only the most mundane of activities to complete, freeing slaves. With all side quests, objectives, and missions completed, as well as all collectibles collected, we caught ourselves a Caragor and rode along the hills of Nurnen in hopes of liberating 30 slaves in 180 seconds. Until finally...
Don't stop fighting, Ranger.
With the base game behind us, we move on to the first of Mordor's DLCs, The Lord of the Hunt. Torvin returns to Nurnen, having tracked a new pack of warchiefs with the ability to tame the beasts of Mordor. Our stout little friend introduces us to the first of several new beast types, the Caragath, allowing us to stealth kill Uruk while mounted. With our new companion, we eviscerate a hunting party and return to Torvin, ending our brief introduction. We continue forward, unlocking the ability to lure ghouls from their nests and the ability to dominate a new Graug type, capable of spewing toxic vomit on our foes before tracking down our first warchief. After stealth killing a series of Uruk with our Caragath, we stalk the Beast Tamer and instantly kill him with a stealth finisher. Thoroughly unsatisfied with such simple prey, we trek south, and after dealing with Graugi's tummy ache, beat down the Beast Butcher with our bow and Shadow Strike. This DLC seems to be missing something. Oh, I know! Damn, these warchiefs are really weak, aren't they? Like, I was kind of hoping for a bit more of a...
Oh my goodness!
After wetting myself a couple times and accidentally setting a bunch of helpful ghouls on fire, the Graug Rider is slain, leaving but one warchief alive. However...
The last of these new war chiefs, he's a ghoul keeper.
With this upsetting news in mind, we choose to fight fire with fire, summoning a pack of ghouls and forcing them to become our ever-faithful pets. With more than 20 ghouls at our side, we face an oncoming Graug alongside our brood, and definitely screw up a quest step. Something I'm sure will not come back to bite me in the buttocks whatsoever. Ignoring our past failures, we charge the Ghoulkeeper's cave, emotionally traumatising the lad with the knowledge that his babies simply prefer Talion's chiseled jawline and ghostly good looks over his horny silhouette. The Keeper attempts to flee, and we chase him down in the name of furthering his psychological trauma. With the help of our new ghoul friends and a very timely appearance of Graugi, the final Beastmaster meets his end. And we say goodbye to our dwarven friend. With the DLC story complete, we move on to the Beastmaster combat missions, allowing us to unlock the Blazing Steed ability. No dogs were harmed in the making of this video. Hey look, a friendly Karagath! With only a few accolades left to achieve, we spent some time ensuring we have a Karagath, Wretched Graug and Spitterghoul dominated simultaneously, before making a stop at our local pet barn because Graugi gets moody when he's hungry. And that's it! The Lord of the Hunt completed. Time to move on to something I'm sure will not come back to bite me in the buttocks whatsoever. Whoops. The Hunt is My Mistress is by far the most difficult achievement in Shadow of Mordor, especially considering it is only a bronze level trophy. Why is it so difficult, you ask? Well, that's because the achievement requires you to kill every war chief and captain on the map, ensuring you kill 10 of these captains with monsters while accumulating 13,000 points, all in under 40 minutes. It sounds simple until you factor in the randomness surrounding enemy spawns and locations. This trophy takes some research and planning. It also takes time and patience, something I personally am in short supply of. However, eventually I came up with the following strategy. Step 1. Tame a Graug and kill as many wandering captains as quickly as possible, moving around the map in a clockwise fashion. Step 2. Find intel on the war chiefs and brand one as quickly as possible. Step 3. Command your branded war chief to start a riot with another war chief. Step 4. Kill every enemy involved. Step 5. Repeat step 3 and 4 until all other enemies are dead. Step 6. Use the domination feature to instantly murder all of your allies and complete the challenge. During this whole process, ensure you use the menus and fast travel as much as possible, as the timer only runs while you are actively in-game. It won't be easy and will still take you multiple attempts, but this was how I accomplished The Hunt is My Mistress on my 9th attempt in 38 minutes and 8 seconds. Shadow of Mordor's final DLC pack, The Bright Lord, puts us in control of Celebrimbor, as he builds his own army in defiance of the Dark Lord after having stolen the Ring of Power, and, in my opinion, it's probably the weakest portion of the game. We are immediately introduced to the power of the One Ring, granting us unlimited executions and flaming arrows with the ring's power active. While this is a cool interpretation of the ring's power, it does make the DLC incredibly easy, even for a game already lacking in the overall difficulty department. Nevertheless, Sauron must be opposed, and we begin the scouring of Mordor. Having been tasked with building the Towers of Eregion and branding all war chiefs, we begin by completing all tower building missions while focusing on shadow branding and wraith flashing as many Uruks as possible. After dominating 20 Uruks in less than a minute, and building the last tower, we progress to completing all of the One Ring's combat side quests, granting us an increased duration of the One Ring's power. Now, in our most overpowered state yet, we brand all 5 war chiefs one by one and establish dominance over Mordor, all in the name of challenging Sauron. After quickly stealth branding a captain to obtain the final missable trophy, Celebrimbor marches to Uruk's hollow stronghold to face the Dark Lord himself.
I am the true Lord of the Rings!
He said it! He said it!
The Sauron fight has several stages, the first of which have you simply facing the Dark Lord with your war chiefs at your side. Once his health is depleted, Sauron will stumble, but rather than simply submitting to execution, he counters and takes control of your branded forces, flipping your 6v1 completely on its head. Using the power of the ring, we're forced to kill all of our former companions, bringing about the fight's third phase.
Obey your true master.
Sauron revives the last murdered war chief from the dead to challenge you alongside him. However, after shadow branding some Uruk and recharging the power of the One Ring, he is still no match for our flurry of executions. But the Dark Lord refuses to submit, reviving all of the dead war chiefs at once. A sight that would be quite anxiety-inducing, except for one teensy little issue. Yeah, he's still one shot. Ignoring all of the war chiefs, we simply shoot him with our bow, complete the QuickTime event, and trigger the game's final cutscene. The final two trophies are both locked behind the test of the ring, the first of which requires you to successfully complete the test. This involves killing all 5 war chiefs plus 12 captains, while branding 8 captains, 50 grunts, and completing all of these objectives in less than 60 minutes. Overall, this feat is much simpler than the Test of the Wild, mostly due to the additional 20 minutes. Simply taking advantage of the game's fast travel system and the fact the timer pauses well in the menu allowed me to complete the test on my first run. Finally, the last trophy, Beyond Epic, requires you to acquire a level 30 ruin during the Test of the Ring. Although this is a fairly simple process, there is a chance that the wrong ruin will drop following the kill, so I highly recommend closing the game once the war chief has killed you, as this will grant you a saved state of sorts, where the war chief can be readily challenged over and over, so long as you close the application the second that you realise the wrong ruin type has been dropped. Luckily, my particular captain dropped the correct ruin on my first go, nabbing me the final trophy of Shadow of Mordor. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribing to stay up to date with future completion runs. If you have any games you wish to suggest, make sure to leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later.